Hello and welcome to the Under Center podcast. I'm your host, Daragh, and I'm joined again by Jake Woolhead on this special Thursday night football preview edition of the show. And no Fionn again, unfortunately, his contract dispute is rolling on for another day, Jake. But look, this dynamic duo that we've got going on here, I think is working pretty well.
I think the duo is working for us, and also he's a Washington fan, so I definitely wouldn't like to hear his shtick for Thursday night football this week.
Definitely, we'll keep it as a Washington-free sort of zone for this evening, especially because our guest to help us preview the game later on tonight is Jerry Foley from the Giant Insider newspaper. Jerry, so great to speak to you again. How you been?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem at all. No problem at all. So, yeah, as I was saying, later on tonight, we have the Giants traveling to Washington to take on the football team. Both sides coming off tough defeats last Sunday against the Broncos and the Chargers, respectively. Jerry, first of all, with the game last Sunday, obviously very disappointing overall, hoping for a good start to the season. What were your thoughts of the game in general?
I'm trying not to think about it, guys. I mean, look, the biggest concern all offseason was the offensive line, and they didn't address it in free agency. They didn't address it in the draft. They had a chance to take Slater, who looked very good against Chase Young, oddly enough. But that wasn't the biggest issue of the game. The offensive line, the pass protection was decent, not good run blocking, but that wasn't what we felt were the main culprits in the loss were the defense unexpectedly played horribly. Pat Shurmur did a lot of things that confused. He seemed to counteract anything Patrick Graham was trying to do. Graham blitzed. He didn't get there. Played man coverage on the outside, and guys were running free. Giants still can't cover a tight end after all these years. Still can't cover him. They proved it Sunday. You had a few plays made by Logan Ryan, but outside of that, the defense was not good. And look, Daniel Jones, until he does it, until he can take that next step, there's going to be doubts around him. So the fumble was horrible. I mean, all he had to do was slide and the play is over, but he dove forward and fumbled. Didn't look off his first read a lot. That was kind of all afternoon. And then he had another chance at 20-7 when he got down towards the goal line. He couldn't complete a pass. So, look, it was ugly. They were out-coached, outplayed, out everything. And not much time to turn it around, man. 4 days, and that's it. You got Washington now, who's angry. Yeah. So,
and another tough D-line to face as well, but hopefully the O-line will hold up. What did you make of Jason Garrett's game plan kind of going into it? It was very conservative.
Was there a game plan? I don't know. I mean, look, it's hard to, when the game's first over, our job is to write about the game for the newspaper, and you don't have all the answers yet, right? You're writing based on what you think you're seeing, whether it's the offensive scheme, somebody missed the block, Jones missed the pass, but then you might find out, look, the receiver ran the wrong route, or, this wasn't this lineman's fault. Somebody else was supposed to come over. But look, that the more you see on Twitter from the experts, right? It kind of proves what you and I see, Jake, that the game plan is very simple. It's not complex. I think that the most aggravated I got in the game was when Kadarius Toney came in 2 plays and got the ball both times. And I just thought, there's way bigger problems than that. But that's an easy one. That's like, if you're gonna bring this kid in, like, at least fake it once. Like, use him as a decoy. Don't give him the ball both times, because as soon as he comes in, everyone's ears go up on defense. Say, watch Toney. And Von Miller drilled him. I mean, they missed the block from Rudolph. Looked terrible. So I don't know what that was, but yeah, the game plan from Garrett is the same. It's a lot of curls, a lot of hooks, and not many shots downfield. But I don't know if that's Jones not taking shots or if it's I don't know, right? So it's tough to say. But overall, I not happy with Jason Garrett, like every other Giants fan.
Yeah, it's hard to watch sometimes, having Jones look one receiver run all the way across, then he gets sacked or something along the lines, or right. The Garrett run up the middle with Devontae Booker. I think there's a whole lot
right. No runs to the outside, and you have Saquon Barkley, right? Like, you're running him right up the middle, right? Now Barkley did miss some holes, but yeah, right. And going to Kenny Golladay once in the first half, one time. You spent $72 million on this guy. Go to him again. And again, I don't know if that's Garrett or if it's Jones not throwing to him, but I'm kind of thinking it's the offensive game plan based on everything you're seeing afterwards by the Orlovskis and Brian Baldinger and those guys. So, hey, we're stuck with Garrett until he either turns it around or the Giants do something there.
Yeah, and do you have sort of any confidence that he will turn it around? Because it is interesting that I've seen the narrative change, because last season it was sort of Daniel Jones, the question mark if he's the guy, but especially after this game, now this is just from an outsider's point of view. I don't know if there has been more scrutiny on Garrett that I haven't seen, but especially after this week, it seems that it's ramped up a lot.
He had a few games last year. Chris pointed it out, Chris Bisignano, who does a ridiculous job. By ridiculous, I mean great job with his Bic Tuesdays, where he takes out the Bic pen and he points out what the hell the Giants are doing. And last year in the Chicago game, the Giants were running all curl routes, and it's like 3rd and 8, and they're running 4-yard curls. Like, what the hell? That's not an offense. Like that almost like that can't be the play, right? But as the season went on, Garrett got better. Then it seemed to get worse. But Garrett could hide behind the fact that he had Darius Slayton, Daniel Jones, Sterling Shepard, and that's really it, right? Nothing else on offense. He had Wayne Gallman, who came on at the end of the year, but you were missing Saquon. You didn't have Kenny Galladay. I guess Evan Ingram, you have to say they have Evan Ingram. But, the offense was limited. The offensive line was absolutely terrible for most of last year. So he could kind of hide behind that, or not hide behind it, but he had that buffer. Now it's, hey, wait a minute. You have the weapons. What's going on? What are you doing? So I think you're right. I think the leash this year is going to be a lot shorter.
Go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
Sorry. One of the things that got me in that game was, the defense was just shocking. I don't know whether it was just kind of a starting off slow, players not being in the right positions, but one of them, Logan Ryan obviously had a pretty decent game by the defensive standards. He recovered that fumble at, I think, the 3-yard line. And what bothered me then, I have to keep going back to the offensive game plan. It was like a run up the middle to Devontae Booker, a pass to the flat to Eli Penny, and then it was like, I don't know, 3rd and 6, and it was a 2-yard stick route for Kyle Rudolph, a pass that it didn't go anywhere. Like, it was kind of, it seemed like the game plan was don't lose the ball, but we're just punting it away then at 4th down. It was just kind of horrible for me to watch.
It's a good point, Jake. And when you named all 3 of those plays, they all just went through my head. I'm like, I know exactly what plays he's talking about. I think I screamed at each one of them or got aggravated. I don't know if the game plan was let's play it safe. I guess it was let's play it safe and hope they make a mistake. But once Teddy Bridgewater was announced, we didn't feel good about that game. Like, I would have rather had Drew Lock in there, where Drew Lock may give it to you. Like, even this week, right? You got Fitzpatrick going, and now it's Heineke. Like, I think I would have rather had Fitzpatrick playing because he's more likely to turn the ball over. So once Bridgewater was announced, it was, hey, guys, look, I know they have a good secondary, the Broncos, but you got to take some shots here because Bridgewater doesn't make mistakes. He's a crafty veteran. He showed you how good he is and how effective he can be in Pat Shurmur's offense. So I don't know what the game plan was. I just know that the defense was out there way too long. They gave up way too many third and 4th down combined were 11 for 18 with like 3 for 3 for 4th down. Yeah, and then the offense couldn't do anything. So, and it was a very conservative game plan. So I don't know. I wish I could give you an answer, but what you saw was what I saw. And that's why everyone's so aggravated and so puzzled by that.
Yeah.
I want to ask actually about Andrew Thomas because, like you're saying, part of the struggling O-line last year, but he seemed to, he wasn't pulling up any trees there on Sunday, but he seemed to have a really improved performance, obviously stemming from a decent off season as well. So is there hope that this year he can take that step forward?
Yeah, he flashed last year. I mean, look, he had a horrible 3rd preseason game where he just looked terrible. But, he held up Sunday. I mean, Chubb wasn't playing, but he still held up. Good kid. Chris has been saying all summer that he had a very quiet summer, which is a good thing from your left tackle. It's just that those joint practices and that game against the Patriots where he looked really bad. So I just think that's going to be a thing with him where he may be good for 3-4 games and all of a sudden he regresses to maybe some old habits. But like the problem is with him, they took him ahead of Becton, who's unfortunately hurt now. Wirfs to me seemed like the smartest one. This isn't Monday morning quarterbacking. We called that one. Like, take Wirfs, he's ready. And then the other guy, the one from the Browns, Willis, the right tackle. So he was the first of the four. Yeah, so he was the first of the four taken. So you figured, well, you have you chose him, Giants. You made this pick. Like, you're saying, this is the guy we want. We're not going to move back and take someone else or take someone else in his place. This is our guy. So a lot of pressure on him this year. I think he'll be fine in the long run. It just may take a little more time. This isn't Eric Flowers. This isn't a disaster at left tackle. This is a kid who works hard and, has a lot of talent, and it should come together. You may get that stinker once in a while with him. It's just the way it is. But I thought he played pretty well Sunday.
Yeah, and let's move on to tonight's game. You did mention there briefly the change at quarterback that Washington are going through at the moment, with Fitzpatrick going on IR and Tyler Heineke starting. And you kind of answered the question, but I'll ask it again in terms of, I guess, would you have rather played Fitzpatrick? Because I guess with Fitzpatrick, he's more likely to stay in the pocket. He does like to run every now and again, but he hasn't got the pace that Heineke has. So I'm guessing scheming for Fitzpatrick might have been, I know it's tough to say when he is a starting quarterback, might have been easier than Heineke.
Oh, I didn't think Teddy Bridgewater was that mobile until I watched him Sunday. Like, I was like, I never pictured him as a mobile quarterback. Like, he looked like Cunningham when he pushed Azeez Ojulari aside and completed the pass. I can't even pronounce the tight end's last name, where Martinez missed the tackle. Yeah, I would rather play Fitzpatrick, but he also, because he gives the ball up, he's careless with the ball a lot of times. So there's times where Fitzpatrick looks like the best quarterback in the league, and then he throws 5 interceptions, right? So I much rather would have had Fitzpatrick for that reason. But yeah, the scrambling also. Get frustrated because when's the last time the Giants could handle a scrambling quarterback, right? Like, I don't know. Like, they played Russell Wilson really well last year, and that was the first time in I don't know how long where they handled a running quarterback well. If Fitzpatrick was playing, I'd feel much better about this game than, believe it or not, than Heineke's playing.
And then obviously a very strong Washington defensive front against the questionable offensive line. How do you think that battle is going to go throughout the game?
No, I went to church today to pray a few novenas. That's how I feel about it. So, I'm scared to death. Not going to lie. Chase Young, you just hope that this isn't the game where Andrew Thomas loses some confidence, because Chase Young did nothing last week, and he did it against the kid that we all wanted. When I say we all, me, Chris, a lot of Giants fans who listen to our podcast wanted Slater, but look, not to beat that point to death, but Montez Sweat's another guy, right? We took Dexter Lawrence over him. Who would you rather have now? If gun to my head, Montez Sweat. They are loaded up front. Jonathan Allen. I mean, you look at that front seven, and it's like we got to block them. So, there's plays to be had in the secondary. Chris pointed that out as well. But you got to protect Jones, and if this is not the week for the offensive line to break down, because it could get ugly very early.
Yeah, and with the strength that the defensive line of Washington have, is this going to be the game that we see maybe less plays from Saquon Barkley as well? I think he only had 10 runs, I think, for 25 yards, was it on Sunday?
I think it was 27,
27, yeah. Like, is it going to be something similar again this week? Or like how, I'm just thinking in the top of my head, just how the Cowboys restricted Zeke's running against the Buccaneers last week because of the strength of their defensive line. Could we see something similar here with the Giants?
Yeah, but I think the other half of that is just the fact that it's 4 days later and he's coming off a torn ACL. So I think they're just going to be very cautious. He was listed officially as questionable. Like, he'll play, but I expect, again, 10 carries. If he gets going, right, if those 10 carries yield 60 yards, then he's going to keep getting the ball. I'm not saying he's not going to get the ball 25 times, but he'll get the ball more than he did Sunday. But yeah, if he's not effective right away, I think they're gonna go to Booker quicker. I think the first few carries are going to determine what they do with Saquon Barkley, especially coming off such a short break.
What bothers me about that is obviously Saquon is such a hugely talented player. He's very athletic, and he's got great pass catching, which we don't use very often for such a talent. We don't put him open into space. Like, he's so elusive. Give him the chance instead of him getting tackled in the backfield almost every play.
Yeah. We don't run effective screenplays, right? Like, our screenplay is hike, throw it to Saquon. No, that's not a screen. Like, you got to wait till it develops a little bit. I always joke that we haven't had a screenplay since Tony Galbraith played in the 80s. Like, that's the last effective screen game I think we've had. Barber did it a few times. I mean, Barkley's had a few good plays. Like, I remember the one against the Eagles where we broke 75 tackles for like a 60-yard game. But, even Sunday they tried to throw to him and it was hike, throw. Like, that's guys, you got to wait for it to develop. So I have no expectations for the Giants screen game. I mean, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm just like, until you guys show me, I don't believe you. I don't believe that you have a screen game. I think whoever somebody on Andy Reid's staff needs to come over and consult, because the Eagles, the Chiefs had the best screen games for years. Like, that's what somebody from that team needs to come over. Even from, the Doug Peterson years, like, you have to teach the Giants how to run an effective screen.
I was going to say maybe someone from the Panthers, because they do a good job with it for Christian McCaffrey.
Right.
So
right.
you could
right. And it's not just, snap the ball, throw. It's, you develop it. So.
Yeah, that's it, because we even saw it the weekend with Sam Darnold. A few other injury concerns as well heading into the game. Evan Ingram is listed. He's not playing at all. And just looking at the likes of you mentioned him earlier, Kadarius Toney and Kenny Golladay as well. Sort of, they both don't look fully fit or fully up to speed just yet as well. So we could see a lot of plays being relied on by the likes of Slayton and Shepard.
Yeah, I think Golladay is going to be fine. I think it's just that's more caution because he missed most of training camp, if not all of it. Came out of the game okay Sunday, so I think I don't worry about that. Ingram's out, but I mean, if anybody who listens to our podcast knows, yeah, okay, Evan Ingram's out. All right, and the sun rose in the east today. Like that, it's expected. Like something else happened with Evan Ingram. He dropped a pass or he's injured, and he's a good kid. Like I want him to be great, but again, until he does, it's not going to happen. So, Evan Ingram being out is not a game changer for me. I think Caden Smith's a good tight end. I wish they use him more in the passing game. Be interesting to see Kyle Rudolph. Like, he left the Vikings so that he can catch the ball. Well, it's like, yeah, okay, Kyle, you came to the Giants. You're staying in the block, unfortunately. So I don't even know how much they're going to use him in the passing game. So I think Golladay. I just installed Golladay on one of my fantasy leagues to start this week. I think they're going to make a concerted effort to get him the ball this week.
And he looked great, actually. Well, not great, I suppose, but he had some really nice catches, like in traffic.
He came as advertised when they threw him the ball. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, why does it take so long to get him the ball? Like, what the hell is that? You paid $72 million for him. It's not like it's your fourth receiver. This is your one. Get him the ball. Even the play when I think it was fourth down at the goal line, like, when's the last time we threw a fade pattern that worked? Plaxico Burress, Hakeem Nicks maybe, and Hakeem Nicks wasn't nearly as tall. Like, Jones threw like a line drive sort of back shoulder to him. Like, okay, I guess that's all right. So yeah, Golladay needs to be involved early. I think he will be. I think they'll make an effort to do it.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of vulnerability on that Washington secondary on Sunday as well. Fuller sort of struggled. I know he got the interception, but he did sort of struggle a bit in coverage. I thought Cameron Curl was one that is one to look out for. I thought he had quite a good game as well. But I guess it does start with that battle on between the two lines that we've explored earlier on. But any other keys do you see in terms of on the opposite side with the Giants defense and the Washington? I'm guessing Antonio Gibson is going to be one that they're going to have to try and get a hold of early.
Yeah, Samuel being out's huge. So I think the Giants have an advantage. It's just McLaurin and the tight end, the converted quarterback to tight end, Logan Thomas, right?
Logan Thomas,
yeah, he was on the Giants, I think, in like 2012 or 13 or something. He was on a team as a quarterback, and then last year he killed us. Look, I expect the defense to come back this week. I'm not terribly concerned and worried about the Washington offense. And when I say that, Heineke's going to annoy me with 3rd and 5 and running for 6 and getting a first down. That's going to raise my blood pressure and, to lethal levels probably. But outside of it, I don't see them being explosive and embarrassing the Giants the way the Broncos did. The Broncos have several good receivers. You saw it Sunday. This is the McLaurin show, I think, right now. So I'm not too concerned about that. On the other side of the ball, I would look for Landon Collins and run past him because he hasn't gotten faster with age. I liked the fact that they didn't sign him years ago and they got rid of him because I do think Jabril Peppers was an upgrade. And I think if you look at the Giants, the safeties now, McKinney's a star in the making. Logan Ryan, we know what he is. So I'd pick on Landon Collins. I'd stretch the field with our receivers. We have some speed. Let's use it.
Yeah, and sneakily, this game, the importance of this game is sort of probably ramped up there in the last couple of days because obviously nobody saw the Eagles' performance against Atlanta, but I think that's more because Atlanta were terrible rather than the Eagles were really good. And then the news that was coming out this evening that Demarcus Lawrence has broken his foot in Cowboys training too, so they're going to be down a key defensive player too. So it's a chance for one of these two teams now tonight to really stake a claim in taking the division this year.
The Eagles, though, are Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy Krueger. Like, until they're dead, they're just not. Like every year you try and bury them, and then they draft Devontae Smith and win 32-6. Like, when is their time up? Like, and I mean, like they didn't do anything last year. They quit on the Washington football team last year, and Washington won the division because of it. But, I can't throw dirt on their grave until they are absolutely eliminated. I agree with you. I think Atlanta's obviously terrible, but I was impressed with the 32-6. I have to be totally honest. But yeah, this is a huge game. It's week 2 and it feels like a must win already. The division winner is not going to be 6-10 again or 6-11. I don't think, but this feels must win. Like both teams lost to an AFC team and you don't want to go 0-2 and have a division loss already. So it is absolutely critical. It's getting laid early already. And off the top of my head, I don't have who the Eagles and Dallas play. So you want to be 1-1 before you go into Sunday.
I know Dallas are playing the Chargers.
Eagles are
playing the 49ers.
All right. So look, there's a good chance that you're going to be tied or there's going to be 1-1 and 0-2 separating in the division. So obviously it doesn't end the season, but you just don't want to start. The Giants have started off 0-2 for how long now? They haven't been above 500 since 2016. Get a win. Feel good again. Get everyone off your back. Get this win. Please, God, get this win. So I didn't realize this was going to be such a therapy session for me, guys. So thank you.
I'm glad we could help with that one.
Yeah.
Jerry, quick one here. So in a nice world, we win tonight. What is your wish for the win? What would you like the Giants to have done to cause the win?
I don't care if they win 3-0. I mean, in all honesty, I just want to see the defense return to form. I want to see Jones bring the ball down the field and look like a leader and look like he can get it done. I don't need a miraculous come from behind win. I'll be happy with 3-0. But in all honesty, I want to see the offense move the ball and be productive and look like a professional offense. I want to see them open it up. I'm much more concerned with what we do on offense than defense. Defense, I'm looking at the Denver game as an anomaly, as I think most people are. So it's going to be all about the offense tonight.
Yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to less predictability. I'm hoping for less predictability for sure. I thought Jones could move the ball well enough. Maybe he got a little bit of motion going until he fumbled the ball. So I'm hoping he can continue a drive like that without turning the ball over.
And he seems good at play action. I saw that later in the game. Oh, look, okay, he's good at play action. And if he just slid, the whole game could be different, So
yeah.
And before we let you go then, Jerry, Jake has a pitcher bet saying that the Giants are going to sweep Washington this year. So make him feel better and give us a score prediction for later tonight.
I don't think I can make him feel better.
Oh, no, Jerry.
27-17 Washington. I have no faith in this team until they win, Jake. I can't pick them until I feel like Charlie Brown when Lucy pulls the ball out with this team. Like that's just the way it is until they start winning again. I see a close game and then a fumble or a pick the other way. So Jake, I hope I'm wrong. I hope you win, but I got to be true to who I am and who our and our Twitter followers. And
that's a completely understandable take to have, but I do have.
But
to
hey,
go
rub it in if you win, man. I'll be psyched. I mean, actually, this is not rubbing it in. I'll be ecstatic. I'll be probably doing shots.
With you. Our other co-host Fiona is a Washington football team fan, so I will be rubbing it in his face, as I'm sure he would to me. So
yeah, right.
That's brilliant. So, Jake, actually, before we go, then I'll let you have the last one. Then, what score do you think it's going to be later?
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. The Giants are obviously gonna win it. I'm gonna say it's a low scoring game. I'm gonna say 21-17 to the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, Chris my partner picked them. So and a lot of people are picking them this week. I'm scoring. I'm broken, so I can't do it. So there you go.
That's understandable, Jay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go for a Washington win as well now myself tonight. I think it's not going to be high scoring either. I think it could be something like 19-13 or something like that. It won't be. They might stay in be a good bet if you want to. Someone's betting tonight on it. To go on. I don't know what the under is and the under overs are, but I'm sure that there's a good chance you might. If you go the under, you might hit it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, real quick, columnist for us, Johnny Gidley, he wrote an article on the under, and I think it was 13 of 16 games last year. So against market volatility around the world, bet the Giants in the under, and you'll be okay. So
I should have read that article before last Sunday because I bet them on the over, and that didn't go too well. Against
there's three certainties in life: death, taxes, and the Giants. The under of the Giant game.
Jerry, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us today. So just before we let you go, where can people find the podcast and the newspaper?
Absolutely. The podcast is on a number of platforms: iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and then our Twitter account is @GiantInsider. And then the newspaper, if you could subscribe, it's www.thegiantinsider.com, or you can go to magster.com for a digital subscription.
Excellent stuff. Again, Jerry, thanks so much for taking the time to speak to us. I got to say, I hope you enjoy the game later. It might not be that enjoyable, but at least if they get the win, then everybody, 2/3 of the chat here will be quite happy.
I'm getting the Jameson Black ready for celebration, guys.
Perfect. Guys, that is where we're going to wrap up this preview as well. And before we go, make sure you follow us on our social pages as well. Twitter and Instagram are all the same @UnderCenterPod. And make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Just search Under Center Podcast, because we will be releasing the first of our YouTube exclusive videos on Friday on how you can beat the bookie and win a bit of money this coming weekend with some of our bets. And we've recorded it already, and I have to say, I think we're in with a good chance of winning a bit of money this weekend, Jake.
Yeah, hopefully. Surprise, I did put the Giants in my bet, so that's a bit of a spoiler there for you. So I might not be in for some money according to almost everybody, but
it's okay. They can follow me and win a bit of money. It'll all be grand. But that, like I said, that's all the time we have for tonight. Enjoy the game if you are staying up to watch it. But until next time, stay safe, and we'll see you.